Hello, party people. I do apologize for being mildly late by about a minute and a half. Had to restart the computer again. Forgot to do so before I went out for my cigarette and to get my coffee. It is what it is. It wouldn't be one of my streams if I didn't forget something. In any case, if you would like to support what I do, I will get the e-begging out of the way early. If you would like to support what I do, you can head over to my Ko-Fi, fling me a few bucks there. If you do that on a monthly basis, I'll put your name in the ticker unless you ask me not to. You would then be in the ticker with ZenRab7 and Simon JJ. I do like to thank my supporters. Let's see. If you would like to support me without spending any money, you can come here to the chat section, say hello, like, share, follow here on Rumble, subscribe on YouTube. You can choose to subscribe or rant on Rumble. That's up to you. It's your money, but I will point out that Rumble takes a very high cut in terms of the finances for a small creator. I am a small creator. I currently still only have 78 followers, as you can see. Well, you can see it there, but my cursor is not apparently being captured. But as a small creator, I would prefer that you go over to Ko-Fi, fling me a few bucks. If you want to send a Rumble rant, I'm not going to say no. It's your money. Do with it as you will. If you want to subscribe to me on Rumble, it's your money. Do with it as you will. I will point out that if you do send a rant, it does stick in chat, so I will see it, and I will absolutely respond to it the moment I see it. And I will go looking for it. As far as I know, you should be able to do the same thing in terms of a super on Ko-Fi, where if you send me a Ko-Fi message with a tip, then that will pop up. I should get a notification pop up. I think I've set that up properly. And in that case, then you can fling me a few bucks that way as well, have an instant message pop up. Other than that, please do bear in mind that July is in fact White History Month. No, we're not asking, we're telling. We've decided collectively as a people, which is the best way for white folk to move, collectively as a people, we have decided that we're going to claim space. Because it's okay when everyone else does it, so we're going to too. And it's a time to be celebratory of our history and our heritage. It's also a good time to raise awareness that white folks do occasionally get victimized. Go figure. Henry Novak, Austin Metcalf, Irina Zarutska, the list is growing. And the way I would like people to use this hashtag, whether you're on Twitter or anywhere else, is to highlight attacks on white folk, whether it's interpersonal in the streets, or if it's governmental with policies like here in Canada, the federal Liberals decided that they would fund black-owned businesses, but they do nothing for the regular native-born white Canadian business owner. Yeah. They will help fund immigrant-owned businesses. They do nothing for the white business owner. The only thing the white business owner has to take advantage of in terms of a business advantage that I know of, and I'm not a corporate guy, is the Temporary Foreign Workers Program, which, of course, contributes to cultural erasure of Canadian values. Yeah, speaking of erasure of values, we start where we always start, thus always to friggin' dickheads. Oh, and I will point out, I'm drinking out of a cup that is merch for my friend Artie. And if you haven't been to Rhetorically Defective's channel over on YouTube, or followed his account on X, I would highly recommend that you do. I would encourage you to go in, say hi. I'm the guy who mods for the chat. Yeah, I know. Artie and me are not the same person, and technically I am not his father. Yeah, I'm going to keep that qualifier there the entire time. But anyway, we'll hop into Six Semper Mentalis with our first story. And I need to move my microphone mildly to the side so I can actually see. Okay. So, from Donut Operator. Hi, Donut. This is the dude screaming about killing white people at the Carmelo protest. Remember the guy who was screaming, "The only good cracker is a dead cracker"? Yeah. Police responded to a domestic involving his son who had a warrant for sexual assault. The son fought police with a knife in his hand and was shot. Yeah. The big fat ass, this is from Gunshy Murder, who's catching a follow. The big fat ass you see yelling about crackers and stuff is Jacob Blake Sr. He's been mad since 2021 when cops shot his son and paralyzed him. Since then, he's an extremely hateful man who tours with BLM-fronted groups. So he has decided that because he has a personal beef, because police held his son accountable for his son's own actions. For those of you who don't remember, Jacob Blake went viral when he... let me see if I can recall the entire timeline. He was given a no-contact order or something of the same nature, violated it by, as far as I am aware, physically assaulting the woman who had ordered it. Not sure if they had a prior relationship or not. When he was confronted by police, he went to his vehicle and attempted to retrieve a knife, at which point he was shot. All of this clearly done on camera. Yeah. In any case, we'll just point out that sometimes the mascots that the other side chooses to use against us are not really the shining individuals that they should be holding up as examples. Speaking of shining individual examples, not really. Jonathan K. There's no genocide in Gaza, and there's no such thing as residential school denialism because those 215 unmarked graves in Kamloops don't exist. You need to keep up with the news, Professor Fruit Loops. Okay. I'm going to disagree in potentiality with your first clause. There may very well be a genocide in Gaza because it does look like the Israelis are attempting to wipe them all out. The rest of it, yes, I actually do agree with you. Now let's see what he's responding to. He's responding to Sean Carlton. So Canada today refused to criminalize residential school denialism and also refused to examine its complicity in the genocide in Gaza. Canada is basically just a genocide denial country at this point. So much for peacekeeper myth. Interesting you didn't bring up the origin myth of the 20th century. The mid-20th century. Yeah. And I did point out, I cannot imagine being this cucked to the mainstream media. And you called him professor. If that's the case, that he's actually an educational professional, he's definitely not teaching his students critical thinking, given that he can't operate it himself. Professor Fruit Loops from Manitoba. Yeah, show us the bodies. Yeah, until shovels are put in the ground, trying to criminalize people even questioning the narrative around the Kamloops school is bad, to say the least. From the Fat Electrician, this shit pisses me off, and I'll pause this here. Because of their young age, police aren't releasing their names. This is a Marine veteran fighting off 4 hooded teens who tried to carjack him at gunpoint. And Nick goes on to say, if you're old enough to attempt grand theft auto with a fucking gun, you're old enough to be treated like an adult. Yeah, you're not wrong, Nick. And I did say, and I will acknowledge it here, thank you, Nick. I needed a contribution to my Sic Semper Mentalis segment. Hope you're well. I don't think that even got a single like. Oh well. But we'll check out this video. Now, it becomes very readily apparent very quickly that the Marine is aware of what's about to happen. You see he's holding his phone in his left hand right now. This kid puts the gun right in his face. And, yeah. Fortunately, some passersby come to help. I'll say at least one gunshot. Yep. And he's held down at gunpoint. Proper fucking thing. It's the exact treatment a dickhead deserves. Speaking of the treatment dickheads deserve, when your community fucks you over. This one from America Memed, 13%, she says. Or he, I would assume. But let's just see what the video has to say. And, you know, we'll draw the obvious conclusions.
Man, when did they start doing this at this Walmart?
I wonder. I mean, if it's your local Walmart, you probably shop there a fair bit, which means you were aware when these started going in. But don't blame the cause, right?
I hate it. This is so ghetto. How are you supposed to shop and get what you want? Compare stuff, touch it, feel it, smell it, whatever. If you gotta request somebody to get it from behind the glass, this is so ghetto. So I had to wait.
I'm going to point something out because I didn't notice it until just now. This is my second or third time watch, or third or fourth, sorry, time watching. It's not only that these see-through cabinets are locked. These storage cabinets appear to be locked as well. This is all the other stock. Wow. So it wasn't just a case of taking it off the shelves. They were taking it out of the storage, above the shelves.
So I had to wait 10 minutes for somebody to comment. All of that for them to actually give me the item to put in my cart anyway. So why not leave it on the shelf unlocked? Like, this is stupid.
Your inability to grasp the reason that this is being done is either evidence of a low IQ or a refusal to examine reality. The fact of the matter is, we all know why this is being done. Yeah. I'm a steel fight smash bottles because y'all's racist and diss my respirations. Y'all racist making us live in the food desert. Actions have consequences, you dumb fucks. If you allow your own community to fuck your community up, you have no one to blame but yourselves. A new grocery store. I will shoplift until they're forced to close. Why we gotta live in food deserts? They closed all the stores, so now you have to commute 40 miles to shoplift. Yeah. Faded Polo is pulling some bullshit. Nice try. Every major shoplifting operation has been contributed to white people. We have fucking camera footage, you dumb fuck. We know it's not. Meanwhile, you're 7% of world population, 90% of world problem for the last 3,000 years. The most despicable species in the universe. Okay, princess. We're the same species. We're definitely not the same people, though. Yeah. Until they change laws where businesses can't be sued for stopping and holding shoplifters until cops come, and harder sentences for shoplifting, this will become the norm, but putting things in cases won't stop them. Once the employee opens the case to give them product to buy, they leave. Yeah. Is it much of a stretch to expect that there's going to come a point where someone will go to open one of these cabinets with a full ring of keys and be accosted, have the keys taken from them, and the entire thing be emptied out? That's the obvious next step. And then, of course, the store will close because it's simply an unsafe environment. But they'll never admit that they did it to themselves. Yeah. Tell your people to stop stealing instead of making a retarded video pretending you don't know why it's like that. Yes, the fatigue is real. Day 4 without shoplifting. I noticed slight changes. Oh, man. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Base Japan. And first story from Base Japan today, from Sassafras, which technically she's not Japanese, but Japan said what the Dems refused to admit. This guy nails it. We're proud of our culture. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. I'll let this guy actually do the speaking here.
But Hi, we're wondering if you had any halal options for your tonkatsu because we don't eat pork. Tonkatsu is literally breaded pork, so we only serve pork here. But there is gyukatsu restaurants that serve beef. You guys should go to those. That's racist. You should be more accommodating to different cultures. So you're saying if I went to your country and went to a restaurant that only serves halal and asked for pork, that you would accommodate us? No, that's against our culture. Well, this is our culture. How we eat our food has nothing to do with discriminating against you. It's just what we decided what we liked. We're just very proud of our culture and want where we are to represent where we came from. So when you immigrate to a new country and try to make it exactly like where you came from, you're not assimilating. You're colonizing. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When someone is graciously allowing you into their home, you should respect their customs and their culture. That's offensive, and you're just Islamophobic. We just want the freedom to tell women what to wear.
I will point out the fact that he switched to the lispy queer accent was perfect for this.
And where to go, and for the men to harass women. We're okay with one of those things.
Yeah. This is his channel on TikTok, Reed Choi. So if you happen to be interested, I don't do TikTok. So, yeah. Diversity is not a strength. Unity is. I will withhold my opinion of Konstantin Kisin, given that this is actually a somewhat effective meme. God said don't eat pork. Yeah, he said that to the Jews. And apparently to the Muslims. Christians didn't hear it. We're good. We know that bacon is proof that there is a God and he loves us. Okay, this is from Haruka Awake. I'm sorry, what? There is no similarity between hijab and kimono. What an absurd argument to make. Yeah, Islam in Japan posted, kimono, beautiful clothing of Japan, and so close to hijab in Islam. Fucking what? No. The hijab in Islam is meant to completely depersonify a person. It erases features. It does not accentuate. It does not represent a beauty. It does nothing adorning. It is not adornment. It is not enhancement of beauty. It does not... The last thing you're supposed to do is look at someone in a hijab. That's the whole point of the hijab. It's so you don't see, I don't know, fucking ankles and lose your mind in a rage of sexual frenzy. I mean, I've known some girls with really nice ankles, but that's beside the point. But I mean, to say that a kimono, which is one of the most beautiful garments a human being can wear, is akin to a hijab, which is a religiously required, as opposed to culturally preferred garment, fuck off. Fuck right off. In fact, fuck off so far that when you get there, and you can no longer fuck off in the same direction you started, take a 90-degree turn and continue to fuck off. From, I'm going to try Kishi Nippon, Japan first. A foreign driver with no license and no insurance killed a 17-year-old boy in a hit-and-run. Local officials propose stronger protections for future victims. Some politicians oppose the proposal, arguing it could encourage discrimination against foreigners. Can measures designed to protect victims ever be considered discrimination? No. And if the person saying that it can be views discrimination against a foreigner in your home country as the overwhelming reason not to enact a protection for people, then they're not interested in protecting their people, and they're a traitor to it. If the first priority of a politician is not fulfilling their duty to be the guardian of the people, then they are a failure. The word servant is tied to both the word knight and the word samurai. These people were servants of their peoples. They existed to protect the people under their auspices, their aegis. Yeah. The foreigner who did this horrible crime must be meted out of death penalty. Well, no go, Paul, he won't be. It's a driving offense. It may very well have been an accident. It may very well have been unintentional. The fact that he did a hit and run, yes, he should be punished for that. And I would say probably something along the lines of vehicular manslaughter would be the fair punishment. From Haruka Awake, you do not get to come to Japan and make demands. There is no Islamic burial in Japan. It has never existed, never will. It does turn out there are some small areas that allow ground burial. Don't know if they're necessarily Islamic, maybe, but that's a regional exception based on, as is in the thread, built trust. So the reason why cremation is prohibited in Islam, it's the same as a sin. So is it a sin or not? Saying it's the same as doesn't really say that it is a sin. I'm begging you, no matter what, because I really want to be buried in the earth, then go the fuck home. Or arrange to be transported home. Or to somewhere where you can be buried in the earth. You have that choice. Also, my comment is a little flippant here. I think the biggest sin this individual is committing is having groomed and combed his hair but not taking care of his beard. If the beard is so important to the Muslims, why do so few of them show it any respect? What is going on with my controller? Oh, okay. There's an easy solution to the I can't let myself be cremated problem. I don't have to take this, I'm going home. Yes. You can, in your burial arrangements, you can arrange to have your corpse transported to where you came from and be buried in the earth there, with all the commensurate and appropriate rituals that you would want. Why would you want your body to be buried in a foreign country that is not your homeland? I don't understand that either. And I think this is the last story for Base Japan today. Yes. So from Chad Crowley, Japan was to be married not to Hitler, but to the German forests. Not to Mussolini, but to the Roman pantheon. It was a pact joining German, Roman, and Japanese mythology. A friendship among the beautiful masculine pagan gods of East and West. That's a quote from Yukio Mishima. Given that I live in Newfoundland, there is a degree of reverence for the island among my people. And it almost, and in some ways it could be considered to rise almost to a mythic level, which is not unlike Shinto in Japan, where they view their island as, I forget exactly the terminology that was used, but it roughly equalizes. It's roughly equivalent, there we go, to seat of heaven. Newfoundlanders tend to call Newfoundland God's country. So, yeah, it's just a fun bit of jokery today. The above quote comes from The Temple of Dawn, one of Yukio Mishima's finest novels, and the third volume of his Sea of Fertility tetralogy. I recommend it to anyone drawn to writing of soulful depth and a severe, almost sublime beauty. And I did say, interesting, thanks. Okay, let's get into the clown show. I mean the comments section. I really have to change this intro. And first up in the clown show, oh, you know we're going to talk about Canada. But not just Canada, we're going to talk about how Finland, the president of Finland says the EU should expand to 40 states, including Canada. Fuck right off. Why? We are literally closer to Russia. This is Canada. This is the northernmost section of Canada, right around this star here. We are literally closer to Russia than we are to the European Union. Right? That's Greenland. That's not Canada. Yeah. Also, why have they put Russia in European Union blue? That's kind of suspect. And also, I'll point out for those of you who don't know your geography when you're looking at a map that isn't properly oriented, that's Alaska. Is the EU planning to try for Alaska as well? No, that's Japan down here. Yeah. What happened to that Third Reich again? And I did say, good fucking luck with that. You think Albertans want independence? Alberta wants independence now. Wait and see how many provinces decide to bounce if you try this shit. It's bad enough most of us are governed by a federal government so distant as to not have the slightest clue how we live in the rural areas. How much worse would it be if that government was an ocean and a continent away? And I'll point out, I believe Brussels is in this region, which is significantly further away than Ottawa, which is in this area. Yeah, this is Newfoundland. This is where I live. And Ottawa is somewhere in this circle, I believe. Yes. So, just being that distant from Ottawa, they have no idea how to govern Newfoundland properly, because they have no frame of reference. How much worse would it be if somebody in fucking Brussels, in Belgium, which is over here, was to try and tell us how to live? Right? It's insanity. I have another stuck post from a suspended account that I can't get off my bookmarks list. This one is from BC, I think. Yes. No, maybe? No. This is from the UK. Because of course it is. The police ignored immigrants who were harassing a woman in her home and then threatened to arrest her for racial hatred if she reported the incident. This from Isaac RRR7. Now the man who exposed it is in handcuffs. So not only can you not say to the police, hey, I'm being bothered by immigrants, they're doing something criminal, please come and stop them, without being threatened with being arrested for racial hatred. Now you can't even expose the police as a citizen journalist without potentially being arrested. Yeah, a woman harassed in her home by immigrants, she went to the police, they did nothing. When she said she would go to the press, well, they threatened to arrest her for, quote, inciting racial hatred. Maybe that shouldn't even be on the books. Because you're certainly not using it against the imams who tell people in Britain that they should eradicate the British. Yeah. A citizen journalist, Active Patriot UK, who I am following, published information about it and was arrested for malicious communication. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, Dankula. Yeah. Actually, I think it was a different charge, but it's basically the same legislation. They held him until 11 p.m., confiscated his phone, and released him on bail for 3 months with strict conditions he cannot mention. So basically the police said, we're gagging you because you want to talk about what we didn't do. Yeah. This is the reality in the UK today, yeah. It's insane.
Right, Alan, the time is 4:26. You're under arrest for malicious communications. You do not have to say anything, but you may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which is later right in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Okay.
I have to pause it because, my God, look at who they sent to arrest him. This guy is head and shoulders taller than this girl. And probably taller than that one, too. Forced perspective being a thing. If he decided to violently resist these two women, what are they going to do? The only thing that is protecting those women right now is the white ethos that that man operates under. If he did not operate under the ethos of being a gentleman and not attacking women who aren't doing you harm, these girls would be screwed.
27th of March. Oh, hold on a minute. So I've received information about
And
the
for the
police
record, it's Humberside Police.
officer, and now he's getting me done.
Wait a second. Now I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to assume the camera is actually his cameraman. So there are 4 police to arrest a citizen journalist.
Oh, is that, yeah?
No, actually, I think the tall guy at the end might not have been a cop. Jesus, look at the fat ass on the one on the right. Sweetheart, you're not going to do anybody any good packing around a dump truck like that. Except possibly your boyfriend.
But have you seen reports from members of the public, right, from an HMO that's been terrorised by migrants, right? She got terrorised for 7 months and they didn't do nothing. And they told her, if you report it to the press,
7 months.
we'll arrest you for inciting racial hatred. That's what they said to her mother when migrants went into her house, terrorised her, looked through the window of her house, hid in the back garden, started filming her and the kids from her house, and she went to the press and the police told her, the police told her, if you go to the press, we'll arrest you for inciting racial hatred. So because she said I'm going to...
I'm sorry, yes, I am paying attention to what he's saying, but what the fuck is she doing? What are you doing? You're fucking with paperwork with a guy stood next to your car. He's unsecured. That might be proper police procedure as she was trained in her force or police force, but it's bad sense. If you've got a cage in the back of this car for prisoners, put him fucking in it. Deal with his paperwork and all that extra shit when you have him in a facility where he is under control. What the fuck is wrong with you? There is literally nothing stopping him from turning around, putting his back against the car, and Spartan kicking her through that gate. Oh, somebody's in. Evil Author's in, says, hello, Ardent. Hello, my friend. Are we watching the things go down in Ireland? Oh, I'm going to get to that. Yeah. I really hope the guy who's in critical condition survives. In any case, I don't believe... Yeah, only traitors help invaders. This is true. Yeah, I don't believe I had a comment there. Let's see. From Wiretap Media. This is probably some Canadian political prattle, but we'll go through it anyway. Alarming. And I'll
sort of
pause
part
this
to this
here.
puzzle.
This is from the Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration. Amazingly, something the Liberals haven't managed to mute so that Canadians can't actually see it yet. Temporary foreign workers, TFWs, and undocumented immigrants are swapping identities, forging Red Seal and safety certificates, then being paid out in cash on government-funded projects in Alberta. So when some of your government facilities start burning down or falling to pieces, who are you going to blame? You might get, if you have a name, like for example Sanjeet Singh, to go to, you might discover that the Sanjeet Singh that showed up at your site to do the work is not in fact the Sanjeet Singh that you were talking to that was identified by those documents. What are you going to do then? Yeah. Well, you'll do the obvious thing. You'll hire more temporary foreign workers to fix it. Idiots. Females in positions of power were a mistake. The only power that women should have, that should be institutionalized for women, is as mothers in the home. And potentially, if they choose, excuse me, running their own small business from the home, or as teachers. But that one, we really need to examine that one a bit more closely, given all the rapes that's happening of young boys by their own teachers, female teachers. Yeah. And I did point out, what would one expect from a culture built on scamming? Yeah, this is a bit long, so we'll jump to about here and see if we get the meat of it.
There's illegal labor working on those projects. I wonder if you could comment on that, and what do you think the government needs to do to prevent this from happening in the future?
Well, one of the things is we actually, get undocumented workers or TFWs that have moved over from the agriculture sector into the construction sector, coming into our office, sometimes in large groups of 20 or 30, because they feel more comfortable talking to us. And they
undocumented. The minute somebody undocumented walks through a government facility's door, they should be arrested and deported, if that's their only crime. If they've committed a secondary crime, they shouldn't get to go home. We need to start making statements. We need to stop making excuses. Noted eaters, yeah, I understand the feeling there. But imagine, this is the guy in charge of building trades of Alberta. I'm a woodworker, okay? I'm a trained tradesman. I am furious when I see, here in Newfoundland especially, temporary foreign workers brought in to build something that I could be working on, but that my government won't hire me to do because I'm the wrong color and I cost too much. Meanwhile, the government is still paying the price. I cost too much because I might actually make a workers' comp claim if I get injured. Yeah. I can't believe this guy, who's supposed to be representing tradesmen and is probably not a tradesman himself. He's probably somebody who trained to be an administrator and went up through the ranks that way. His trade is... well, makes me mad. Just a second. His trade is moving paper around. That's all he ever trained to do, most likely. Now, I may be wrong about this. He may actually, in fact, be someone who's been a tradesman in the past. I don't have that impression. But I cannot believe that a group of tradesmen are looking at their representative dealing with undocumented workers and temporary foreign workers and favoring them over the native-born who worked their asses off to get the skills. Sickening.
Are working, not always, but sometimes, on government-funded projects.
They're working on government-funded projects. Fuck. Yeah. What do you expect from a culture built on scamming? Yeah. The whole ISAT, or ISAT, whatever the term is. This is the Indian honor system. And part of that is, if you can successfully scam somebody, you're a Chad. Yeah. Also bring in another 500 million Poojies because we need more works. Yeah, you're not wrong, Evil. Okay, I think we're changing to the other side of the pond. Yeah, this looks like or possibly to the other side of the planet. From I Find Retards, Retard Finder. Let me pause this, because this one is fucking retarded, if I recall correctly. This is who we are up against. These retards can't understand basic concepts. Her stupid smug face and neck say it all. Of course more immigration means less housing availability. It's common sense, you clown.
The idea of blaming our housing crisis on immigration is absolutely wild to me, actually.
Well,
Robert. Like,
that says more about you, because we've got an extra 10, 20 million people come in the country.
Do you think that if
an extra 10 million people is going to have an effect on housing?
Do you think that if we lock down our borders, we're going to solve the housing crisis?
Well,
is that going to solve it?
The thing is, the more people you have in a country, the more houses you're going to need. I know it might sound...
He's really good at explaining.
Oh my god, she is that thick. Evil, you're absolutely right. Women should not be in positions of power.
Things like this, isn't it? Yeah.
She thinks she scored a point, and there's women clapping like seals in the audience. Are you fucking kidding me? I think this might be Australian, by the way. I think this is Quanda's. Or Quanda, Q&A. Tweetheart says, never trust a liberal woman with a bob haircut or a bob haircut with micro short bangs. It's a good indication that the nut meter is strong. It's not always the women, but it kind of is. It was always, the Orwell quote. Yeah, I've said it many times. Oh my dear God. Is that Gove? Soft hands equals nothing. Yeah, no nothing assholes. Yeah, you're right. These people play stupid on purpose. I don't think you can play that dumb. I truly don't. But then again, let's come back to Canada. Yeah, talk about my fucking genius of a prime minister. Okay, I'm going to actually triage a few links out of this, because a lot of them deal with the same thing. From Mario Zelaya. Carney launched Canada's national AI strategy built on trust, opportunity, and sovereignty. Also Carney's government. Bill C2, warrantless digital info sharing. Bill C22, mandatory backdoors and metadata retention on all electronic services. Bill C8, power to throttle and cut cyber infrastructure. Yeah, that means that if it may happen during one of my streams at some point that all of a sudden everything just stops, I disappear completely from the internet because my internet is cut off. Bill C9, undefined downplaying of history as a 2-year prison offense. Bill C11, government regulation of online content. Bill C63, digital safety enforcement on speech and behavior. You can't say you're building trust while writing 6 bills that let the state read your data, throttle your internet, and criminalize what you say. This AI strategy has nothing to do with Canadian sovereignty. It's about controlling the cage. Yeah. He's claiming to prioritize safety, reliability, and sovereignty. Safety and sovereignty you've already surrendered to the foreigners. That's gone. You can forget about that. Reliability, who gives a shit if it's reliable if you're busy trying to fend off a knife attack? From... Next story. I think we're back to the UK again. It does look that way. Yes. That's a copper with a temper. That one probably should have been the Sic Semper Mentalis. Let's see. When is the vote again to parts of Canada to leave and be part of America? Do you think they will let that happen? As yet, the referendum on Alberta independence is still a bit up in the air. There's a process to follow, of course. It does look like the referendum is going to happen. However, it does also look like the question will be a little less than a yes or no. It may be an A-B, binary choice. Saskatchewan apparently is also intending to follow suit with Alberta. There's always been the Quebec separation thing, but they're being real quiet right now, probably because they always used separation as a negotiation tactic. They always used that threat as a way to get more money out of the federal government. Alberta's not doing that because Alberta has never gotten any money from the federal government. Alberta has, to date, from the time Alberta joined the Confederation until now, Alberta has never received a single cent in transfer payments from the federal government. Quebec has received the majority of them. Quebec is not a have-not province. But they managed to manipulate the system in such a way that it looks like they are. Yeah. Let me see. People with hot temper have no business being in police uniform. Look at what this officer did. I hope he gets fired for the assault. He probably won't be. And, yeah.
What? Okay, what? You've been causing some issues.
No, he ain't. No, he hasn't.
I've talked to him. Okay,
Oi, calm yourself down. Calm your attitude down. Speak to the public with respect.
Listen, go away.
I'm telling you to calm down.
Go away.
Yeah, I'm DP audit. Respect.
Thank you.
I'm carrying on all I want. Speak to the public with respect and integrity like you're meant to.
It's absolutely appropriate for you to demand that a police officer speak to you with respect.
Yeah?
Oh, sorry. I just realized, Evil, I didn't actually answer the entirety of your question. They're not voting to leave and be part of America. The vote is simply to separate from Canada. Now, the logical next step might very well be to seek statehood, but that's not really on the table at this point. Do I think they will let it happen? The moment that Mark Carney started recruiting foreigners to join the military here in Canada, it became fairly foreseeable that should Alberta vote to separate, their border might very well be surrounded by Canadian Forces soldiers of different skin tones the next day. Yeah, I would be very shocked if Carney were to allow that to happen. And look at the fact that Carney is such an EU banger, such a Remainer. I wouldn't put it past him that he would use EU tactics, such as, declaring the result of a referendum void unilaterally. Yeah. And being in Newfoundland, I'm in something of a unique position, because in the 1940s, we had a referendum on whether or not we would continue to be a possession of the UK government, go it alone, or potentially join Canada. That was the first referendum ballot that Newfoundland had in 47 or 48. The second ballot, the option for independence was completely removed, which of course meant that there would be no opportunity at all for us to join the US. The result of the second referendum, which was only stay with the UK or join Canada, was of course that we would join Canada. The communist, Joseph Smallwood, who got us into Canada, and he has said openly that Newfoundland joining Canada, and I can quote this verbatim from the interview I saw. Newfoundland joining Canada was the closest I could get it to communism. Yeah, and I've been working on finding that clip. I think I may have tracked down 3 or 4 sources. I have to do a lot more research before I can do that piece. Normally today would be Terra Nova Tuesday if I was prepared to do a video. I'm not at the moment. I'm in the middle of research. This cop is a non. Of course, he has no respect for native Brit. Polish? Some sort of Eastern European? The physiognomy is escaping me.
Are you happy to do
Yes.
Right.
Control,
Are you happy to do
Yes,
Right, so we've got CCTV monitoring on you.
Yeah.
You're sticking things up your swearing.
Yeah, because they was taking them up at me. I was walking past.
It's both ways. Where's your presence as police officers? What?
Okay, so this is like the teachers in the zero tolerance for bullying schools. When you defend yourself or respond in kind, the teacher somehow misses the instigating incident. And rather than ask you what happened, they decide that you're the bad guy. And apparently this cop does lose his shit a little bit right about here. So we'll go with this.
Why is your neck in, yes?
My neck in.
Yes, you're the police officer.
Okay, now see, that's clear assault. So, yeah. It explains my response here. That cop is one of the worst examples of poor recruitment I've ever seen. Even assuming he was having a bad day and didn't have the presence of mind to calm himself down, he has a professional requirement to be of even temper and respectful demeanor. He should absolutely be put on blast. Not only should he be put on blast, he should be put on at least disciplinary leave, potentially fired for assaulting a member of the public. I've done security and bouncing work. If somebody who was on my team, whether I was in charge of the team or not, pulled the shit this guy just pulled, I would absolutely braid them up. They would immediately hear, "What the fuck are you doing?" Do the police no longer have minimum fitness requirements? See, one of the problems with the police is if you can pass the fitness requirement once, you're good. Generally, they don't redo them every year or every 2 years. It's also something I think they should be doing with motor vehicle licensing as well. I think that if you get your license at, well, here in Canada, you can get it at 18. So if you get your license at 18, I think you should be retested 10 years later at 28. And then 10 years later at 38. And then 10 years later at 48. And then 7 years later at 55. And then 7 years later at 62, because you're approaching retirement age. Then 7 years later at 69. Then 6 years later at 75. Then 5 years later at 80. If you're still capable of driving at 80, at that point, you should be retested every 2 years. Because, not just because your skill level might change, your reflexes, your response time, all that sort of stuff, but also because the laws of the road change. For some reason, and it's absolutely cockamamie to me, there are a couple of intersections nearby that I end up going through fairly frequently, where when you're coming off the highway, when you're coming out of high-speed traffic, and turning to the right, which, if you're British, it's the same as turning to the left. Like, just flip everything I say and it'll be essential. And I'll try to do it without right and left as much as I can. But if you're leaving highway traffic and coming into a residential area, you have a yield sign for people who are supposed to be coming this way, stopping to make a turn, to cross a lane of traffic. You have to yield as someone who is not even in traffic to a vehicle that has to stop to cross traffic. It's insanity. I'm going to pause for just a second here and get my headset on. We have some company. Okay. Accidentally had the Bluetooth left on my phone and my headset connected to that instead of the computer. Okay. Evil says, this is why I try not to interact with police anymore. They get in, then don't care about standards, seeing people as people and acting accordingly. Police aren't even supposed to see you as a person. They're supposed to see you as a case. That's it. They should not, like the way that this cop reacted to this young fella, for the lack of a better descriptor, shows that he was reacting with ego. His ego got the best of him. That is a terrible thing for somebody concerned with protecting other people to have. Excuse me. A hot stomach is also not good for police work. Yep, fat. Yeah, all cops are pieces of shit. No, I disagree with that. I don't think it's fair to label the entirety of any group of people as pieces of shit. Yeah, hurrah for the filth, British police, Eddie best in the world. But whatever it is, just stop it, okay? Needs to lay off the pies, read the rule book. Yeah, bin the rule book, it needs burning like another one we won't mention. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, a hot-headed, immature liability walking the streets of Coventry city centre in a uniform. Yeah. I'm not really looking for anything else other than the architecture here. Coventry looks like a nice place to hang out. Or the city centre does, at least. I like the architecture. It reminds me of, well, here. I'm going to skip that one today. This is a good one. Yeah. Let me triage out that last one as well. Okay, so we're coming back to Canada. Oh dear, I just saw that video. Okay, push that out of the screen so I don't see it. From Marty up north, the unacceptable fact checker. Does nobody even hear what politicians are saying anymore? We have taken back control of immigration. Who the fuck from? Like this is crazy. Listen to this.
We have taken back control of immigration. That's meant...
He's the head of the federal fucking government. Who the fuck was controlling immigration if it wasn't him? Who the fuck had control of it? What the fuck, Mark? We have reined in government spending. You are so full of shit. Yeah. Has anyone been held accountable? No. Did anyone lose their job? No. Did you fire a new minister? Of course not. The only one who left was Stephen Guilbeault, and that's probably because this piece of shit throws so many fucking tantrums and snaps on so many of his own caucus members that they're going to the media to talk about it. Speaking of which, I think I have that clip as well. Let me see here. I don't. Okay. I do have this, and dear God. You think the cops in the UK are bad? Check this shit out. This is what cops in Canada are doing this weekend. This would be from the weekend gone.
Okay, this is not easy. I've never done this before. I don't wear shoes like this.
Then why are you doing it now?
But on Saturday, June 13th, the Bethesda House in Bowmanville is
Sorry, June 13th is this coming weekend.
Hosting the Walk a Mile event. It's a fundraiser charity event supporting women and children affected by gender-based violence.
Why are you calling it gender-based violence? Why are you saying you're supporting women and children and they've been victimized by gender-based violence? Is it because you don't believe men can ever experience gender-based violence? Or is it because male violence is such a vast problem, you don't want to tackle it because that means you would have to look at the fucking immigrants?
And we would love for you to join us.
Fuck off. What is this one? No, this one's a dead story. Oh, yeah, let's talk about this one. This one's funny. Or at least I'm going to try to put a funny spin on it. Is this the right story? No. Shit. No, that's unfortunate. I lost that story. Okay, well, let's do this. We'll go to the States this time. Sort of, kind of, not really. Yes, it is, in fact, bigotry. Let me just make sure you understand how I'm spelling it. Because I'm in Canada and I can't use the same word you did. So I use this word. Faggotry. It's absolute faggotry. This tweet explains the entire culture and peoples of Canada. Yeah. From Cherry Biso. I'd rather be broke and homeless than be American. Fucking what? Okay. President Donald Trump proposes making Canada a U.S. state. Now, this is probably from last year, but oh, no, this is from this year. Making Canada a U.S. state as the country finally admits that we're in a recession. Yeah, it looks like 51st is back on the table, boys. Let's see. Table Salt says, these cultists would rather die a slow, painful starvation death than admit that Canada depends on the USA, and it has a lot to offer. Yeah. And I did say 51st is back on the menu. He'll probably reach that goal with the way we're headed. Yeah. Oh, my fucking country is so fucked. Rule number 1, no puff dust. Use a hard F. Made me laugh too hard that time. Romper bopper stopper boo. Let's see, what do we got here? Cherry will get her wish as long as the Liberal Party remains in power. Yeah. What's this one? No, we're not going to bother with that. Don't want to give that bitch any more airtime than she's gotten. But since we're talking about Canadian politics, and I will give a bit of a refresher on my opinion about the 51st state thing. Canada should absolutely not be made a state. If, by any happenstance, the U.S. annexes Canada, we should be made the 15th territory immediately, and within that framework, we should be given the opportunity by region, not just by province, but by region, to decide how we want to be associated with one another. For example, there are chunks of BC that would rather be part of the Yukon or part of Alberta than actually be tied to mainland BC, or sorry, to the lower mainland of BC. To give the proper perspective to that, when you think of the lower mainland of BC, remember that just across the border is fucking Seattle and Washington State. Yeah. The politics are basically the same. I think it would be far better. And there are parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan and potentially Manitoba that would all rather be lumped together. The two territories, or parts of the three territories may want to recombine. There's any number of possibilities. The maritime provinces, I can see New Brunswick wanting to join Quebec, or parts of New Brunswick wanting to join Quebec. Parts of Quebec might very well vote to join Newfoundland as part of Labrador. Yeah, like there's so many things that could happen. Now, I will point out, I absolutely despise the vast majority of Canadian politicians. I still think the 343 that are in power are potentially treasonous bastards, because we still don't know the names of the 11 MPs who were found to be subverted by foreign governments. However, I think Andrew is doing some good work. Andrew used to work for Rebel News, and I believe briefly for Juno News. I got a bloop. What the hell bloop? Somebody send me a Ko-Fi? Check my Ko-Fi real quick here. Messages. Oh. Simon JJ has supported me. Thank you very much, Simon. He says, always enjoy your content, AP. And I'll send him a quick much appreciated. I'm streaming right now. I'll point out to him, you were the first on-stream notification I received. Oh, and I think I have another one. Okay, back here. Oh, what's going on here? Go over here, home. Oh, no, okay, I'm getting notifications from, I'm getting notifications from the Telegram window I have open as well. Oopsie. Let me just mute that if I can. How do I mute that window? Can I mute that window? I can mute window. Nope. Okay. Anyway, thank you again, Simon. Deeply appreciated. just by chance, I got that notification from him as well. Okay. Okay, back to what I was doing. From Andrew Lawton, Canadians have sent 240,000 postcards to senators urging them to oppose Liberal Bill C9 until this morning, and this is from the 4th, so that's 5 days ago. Until this morning, the Senate was hiding these postcards in a warehouse in Gatineau, Quebec. The Senate is in Ottawa, in a different province. The Senate was hiding these postcards. This morning, they were moved to a Senate room, but they still aren't being delivered to senators. And you can see the boxes of postcards here. We'll pop into about here and let Andrew.
And what more poetic way to show that than the fact that the Senate originally held back these postcards, kept them in a warehouse in Gatineau, where my colleagues Tamara Jansen and Jacob Mantle tried to visit yesterday and couldn't even get in the building. But thanks to your pressure, your input, and I will say the incredible work of my colleague, Saskatchewan Senator Denise Batters, these postcards have now been moved to a Senate office. Now, you can see the scale of them here. I believe there are 133 boxes of these
133 boxes, 240,000-ish postcards. Did say, Andrew, you're up there doing God's work. It's nice to see somebody actually gives a fuck about Canadians on Parliament Hill. Yeah. But, I mean, this kind of information control, this kind of insulation of politicians from the people they govern, yeah. No, Canada's not a totalitarian tyranny. Why would you ever think so? It's exciting for Calistanis to flex guns and promote violence. Terrorism is in their blood. This from Alan Hampton, who catches a follow. These extremists not only flex arms, but also use online platforms to radicalize and incite violence. The video from Surrey, BC further clarifies their motive. Canadian intelligence has already warned of ongoing risks from politically and ideologically motivated violent extremism. Should we now talk about deporting them? No. I don't think we should be talking about deporting them at all. So that's quite loud, so I'm going to turn my volume down a bit. Oh, it's already quite low. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, that is a bit too loud. I'll turn the video itself down. For the record, every single one of those handguns and this sawed-off piece of shit are illegal in this country. Illegal. Yeah. Anything that looks like an AK-47 is illegal in this country. I just want to point out this image. This guy is lucky this guy didn't fucking shoot him. But he does seem to have at least trigger discipline. Yeah, also that's a PKM. Yeah. What is the policy regarding the deportation of Canadian citizens, particularly those in Canada? You can't do it. Not legally. That's why we don't need deportation for these people. The ones who were born here or have citizenship, we don't need to deport them. We deperson them. We basically say, you're no longer a Canadian citizen. Please apply to every other country on the planet for someone to take you. You have a year before we eject you from our country. Only fair.
Number of gangland people.
Yeah, this is
number of gangland people, number of people with organized crime links from Punjab have been made welcome in Canada. We have been telling Canada, saying, look, these are wanted criminals from.
Yeah, these some of the immigrants, some of the temporary foreign workers, quite a lot of them, they're just illegals. No, we'll skip this one. I'm shortly going to have to go use the washroom as well, unfortunately. Did I miss anything over here? Copy that. Bring this over. Let's come back to Mr. Kearney. Why is this being such a bitch all of a sudden? Okay, it looks like my browser is frozen, which sucks balls. Really? Let me see if I can make this work a different way. All of these people need to go home. Yes, you're absolutely right, Albert. Okay, I'm going to step away for just a minute, let my computer hopefully sort itself out, and I need to use the washroom pretty badly. So I will be back in just a second. I'm going to turn off my mic and my cam while I'm
India. You have given them visas. They have come, many of them in false documentation, and yet you allow them to live there. If you decide to import for political purposes people with very dubious, actually very negative background, there will be issues. They have, in some cases, created problems in their own country. Number of gangland people, number of people with organized crime links from Punjab have been made welcome in Canada. We have been telling Canada, saying, look, these are wanted criminals from India. You have given them visas. They have come, many of them in false documentation, and yet you allow them to live there. If you decide to import for political purposes people with very dubious, actually very negative background, there will be issues. They have, in some cases, created problems in their own country. Number of gangland people, number of people with organized crime links from Punjab have been made welcome in Canada. We have been telling Canada, saying, look, these are wanted criminals from India. You have given them visas. They have come, many of them in false documentation, and yet you allow them to live there. If you decide to import for political purposes people with very dubious, actually very negative background, there will be issues. They have, in some cases, created problems in their own country. Number of gangland people, number of people with organized crime links from Punjab have been made welcome in Canada. We have been telling Canada, saying, look, these are wanted criminals from India. You have given them visas. They have come, many of them in false documentation, and yet you allow them to live there. If you decide to import for political purposes people with very dubious, actually very negative background, there will be issues. They have, in some cases, created problems in their own country. Number of gangland people, number of people with organized crime links from Punjab have been made welcome in Canada. We have been telling Canada, saying, look, these are wanted criminals from India. You have given them visas. They have come, many of them in false documentation, and yet you allow them to live there. If you decide to import for political purposes people with very dubious, actually very negative background,
yeah, and I turned on the wrong mic first. Thank you for pointing that out, Arthur. I appreciate it. Mark Carney is so out of touch with reality, he wore a $3,000 suit and his little Canadian knighthood pin while his wife was wearing Chanel to a photo op at a Food Basics, which is basically a bargain basement, low cost as possible sort of. One of the chains that's related to this is called No Frills. It literally has no frills. during a recession, and people defend him. Yeah. This is the type of person I was referring to, the defenders. It's pathological. Yeah, well, if he wore a $79.99 suit, you'd deride him for mocking ordinary people with his insincerity. The fuck do you think he's doing now, if not being insincere? You want to talk about a piece of friggin' trash? Mark Carney gives Canadians back their money and claims that he's giving us a benefit for groceries because the costs have gone up. Gee, I wonder who's responsible for that. And then he does shit like this. From Ryan Garrettson, lasagna with beef, 2,925 fucking euros. Salmon, 3,825. Chocolate mousse, 1,350. Telling Canadians they will have to make sacrifices because of the failing economy. Priceless. Yeah, this is lasagna with beef, business class meal service. I'm not sure what that says. First service, $2,900 or euros? Euros. Right? Carney is spending at least as much, if not way more, than Trudeau ever did on catered food on his flights. And I have to ask, what the actual fuck was in that lasagna? What, like, did they use Kobe beef to make the lasagna? Was it one of these cows that gets massaged its entire life? What the fuck was in the lasagna? Also, if you have an animal that is that high quality, you cut it into fucking steaks and you eat the meat straight. That's the whole point of having steak. You have a good quality meat, you serve it as meat. You have a lesser quality meat, it gets turned into burger and used in lasagna. Jesus. Bro, where did you get this? This is a great find. Only problem is there's no ID, passenger name, plane ID on the receipt on this catering invoice. Can you remove the crop so we can see the whole receipt? Gee, why would you bring up that particular point, anarchist? Communist, yeah. Oh, anti-communist, I think it said. Oh, no, never mind. I think I'm misjudging this person. Oh, it's Trucker Canuck. He follows me. Jesus, what an asshole I am. Murthan the White says, food. Yeah, it's not food. It's an experience. Yeah. And if you think it's bad now, well, the Liberal government wants to make it worse for us. No, I'm not joking. From Michelle Rempel-Garner, who occasionally gets a follow and then loses it. Federal immigration officials just said the Liberals are planning a new taxpayer-funded international advertising campaign to bring more foreign nationals to Canada to work. Doing this in the middle of a youth jobs crisis and a recession. Yeah. Yeah. And rising unemployment generally. But they'll lie to your face on the news and say, oh, no, this is not true. You know, we're way more prosperous than the U.S. Right. Nothing screams we have full support of the public, like turning off comments, says Bruce. Oh, Bruce follows me, I'll follow him back. I was following him for a while, I thought. From Commissioner of the RCMP. The pride flag is raised at the RCMP's national headquarters in Ottawa. We salute the strength, dignity, and contributions of... I'm not reading all that, especially now they've got an E in there. Communities, alphabet mob communities, and reaffirm our commitment to inclusion within our workforce and among communities. I'm not sure which one of these weird syncretistic flags it is, but one of them actually does have child molesters included, so yeah. Oh look, only some accounts can reply. Yeah. Oh, gods. Oh look, the Calisthenics are at it again. Clips of Indian invaders recklessly shooting off firearms surface weekly now. The Bishnoi gang recently threatened police, saying they have 1,000 armed men. Meanwhile, Canadian police are posting videos of themselves wearing red, stilettos. Yeah. Let's, now, pause this here, and let's see how many license plates. Wow, could you be any more transparent about having backed that vehicle into the water just so you could drive out to look cool in your video? Oh, look, 6682AS. It's almost like I have to do the cop's fucking job. Waving the gun around at waist level with his fingers still on the trigger after pulling it. What the fuck are you aiming at, asshole? Yeah, no, by all means, right? Just point the gun at your foot and keep your finger on the trigger. RM607C, look at that. It's almost like police work is fucking easy if you know how to do it. Or you care to do it. Yeah. Yeah. And I did say, why do they feel the need to have these guns? What are they planning to do with them? Where did they get them? Where are they storing them? These are the fucking questions you should be asking. And I tagged the RCMP and CBC News. For a goddamn good reason. They're useless. Far more concerned. Yeah. Maybe Gary should go ask them for their guns. Yeah, Gary, the chipmunk in chief, is not going to go anywhere near those people. Because he knows fucking well they'll shoot him. Yeah. And since we're still in the clown show that is Canada, let's talk about this. This, I believe, is from the Buck You Will. Let me get this 100% straight. No Facebook until you're 16, but you can chop your cock off at 12. Yeah. Ottawa is planning a social media ban for children under 16. Because it's working out so well for the Australians. Yeah, on this issue, they care so much about our kids, but when they die listening to the government, they claim they have no duty to care. Pick a lane. Yeah. Ontario court dismisses lawsuit over 17-year-old's death. No duty of care. Yeah. Yeah, speaking of lying to the Canadian people. Adam Van Keeverden. We have to stick to the facts here, Mr. Speaker. Canada's economy is growing. In a recession. Yeah.
Canada's economy is growing. In fact, Canada has surpassed the US when it comes to having a higher employment rate. The Canadian economy, because Canadians are working hard, added 88,000 jobs to the economy.
It was 80,000 earlier this week. Now all of a sudden it's 88,000? The only people who are believing this are the fucking boomers because they never see anything to contradict it. Because mainstream media is wholly and entirely maple-flavored Pravda.
In the last month, Mr. Speaker, we have a plan, and
you have a plan. Would you care to share the plan? No. Why not? Well, because if we share the plan, you might be able to pick the plan apart. Isn't that kind of the point when you're trying to succeed? No.
Working hard to make sure...
there aren't enough trains anymore. Oh, fuck, is that ever true? Yeah, these fuckers only just admitted that we're in a recession. One that's probably been occurring for years. What the fuck do they think people are going to believe? The things they say? Or the things they say? Yeah. And, got one last story. Actually, I have two, since they're both, GETTR related. We'll go with those. So, from Table Salt. Breaking. A senior Air Canada pilot has been charged for allegedly flying thousands of passengers on hundreds of flights without the proper license. His name is not being released. Let me guess, he got his qualifications from a very fine school in Kerala, India. That already has 7 likes. That was less than 4 hours ago. Yeah. Thank you, by the way, everybody who liked it. Excuse me. Okay, which one are we going with first? Okay, these are 2 links from the same story. For the same story, I'm going to skip this one, and we'll triage that out. This will be the last story in the clown show today, then we can move on to slightly nicer things. At least I think we can. No. Unfortunately, it gets way darker. Yeah, I just realized I hadn't covered the Irish story. So, from the British Bastard X, illegal Sikh immigrant who raped a woman with Down syndrome and sexually assaulted 2 nurses can't be deported as he won't sign the paperwork. Unfucking believable. Harjit Singh, go figure, 48, who has been in the UK for 19 years, is unwilling to cooperate with a Home Office bid to arrange emergency travel documents to get him flown out. Officials are unable to resort to tougher measures and will have to turn to the Indian embassy for help, an immigration hearing was told. Restore Britain would give you the option to either immediately deport or a choice to bring back the death penalty for scum like this. You know what to do. Yeah. So we'll just have a good long look at this cheated Leto-looking fuck. Yeah, there aren't enough trains in India. Yeah, there aren't enough gallows in the West either. His consent. He won't sign the paperwork. Why do you need his signature? To fling him the fuck out. He doesn't want to be put on a plane. That's fine. I'm pretty sure if you pulled apart an old bomb casing, he'd fit in there. You can just drop him on India. Or, failing that, maybe we should try a different approach, a slightly more medieval approach, one that's close and near and dear to my heart. Put him on a one-way trebuchet. Either way, he's got to go. Yeah. I cannot believe that the fact that he won't sign the paperwork is why he can't be deported. That's insanity. Okay, next segment is White History Month. So I am encouraging everybody to use the hashtag July is White History Month with the initials capitalized for clarity, because it's a good way to celebrate our heritage and our history, and it lets people know the things that are being done to our people. From Christopher Rufo, the California government is such a dystopia that they are denying our lawful records request on the argument that, quote, the public interest served by not disclosing the record clearly outweighs the public interest served by disclosure of the record. They've gone full Orwell. And what he's talking about is they requested surveillance video of 4 recent homicides on the LA Metro. That's a subway, for those of you unaware of the term. The authorities are now denying their lawful FOIA, Freedom of Information application, because they are scared the truth will get out. Hey, Metro LA, preserve your documents. We're not going to stop. Metro Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, LACMTA, Public Records. Record request number 26-949 has been closed. The closure reason supplied was, Dear Requester, Metro has determined that the video footage from the 4 incidents identified in your request are exempt from disclosure pursuant to California Government Code Section 7922.000, which authorizes withholding of a record when the public interest served by not disclosing the record clearly outweighs the public interest served by disclosure. This is from, go figure, Rebecca Hoffland. Yes, because of course it's a woman denying it. David Marshall catches a follow, sausage and egg X. They broke his bones, gouged his eyes out, cut out his tongue, and castrated him. He died of a heart attack after being set on fire and dragged himself 50 meters across the floor. Chris Donald was an innocent Scottish schoolboy who was abducted and burnt alive by a gang of Pakistani men in a brutal, racist execution, yet his name and murder remain virtually unknown. That's another reason that we should be sharing the July is White History Month hashtag. It's not just to highlight the wrongs done. It's because our people need to be made aware that those wrongs are being done. It's not just Austin Metcalf. It's not just Irene Zarutska. It's not just Henry Noble. It's name after name after name. Names that you will never hear. Chris Donald, Cannon Hinton. You don't hear them unless you share them, because our news services don't serve us. Yeah. And calling Kearney number 1, the public enemy number 1, is pointless. Elon Musk says he remembers. Okay, awesome. Are you the proper Elon Musk, or are you hiding something? It might actually be Elon. Okay. From Mostly Peaceful Memes, the Carmelo Anthony case is a great perfect example of why they used to lynch people. Brazenly murdered someone in front of 50 witnesses. You don't need to waste time and money with a year-long trial. Truth is, we need significantly speedier trials in cases that are clear-cut. No, if something is this clear-cut, if we could trust the cops to do it, I would suggest summary executions. Just take them out on the spot. From the Metatron, or Pure Metatron, I believe he calls himself on X. Yes. The whole community should not be allowed to carry those swords. This is beyond ridiculous. The people of Britain can't carry, but these people can. Give me a break. All carry or no one does. There was a murder. One life was ended. Isolated incidents, my ass. It's not isolated at all, Metatron. And just to make sure. I'll just poke that there for him. Let's see, where are we here? One life is one too many. Ban all their swords and arrest them if they don't comply. No. And I'll get to why in a second. But the white-hating British government will not do it. They hate their own people, which is why reform. No, not reform. Restore. Must win. It's the only hope for justice and equality in all of Britain. Metatron, my brother in Christ. I don't know if you'll ever hear this. I kind of hope someone will actually take this timestamp and link you the video with this timestamp. And if they do, I hope you hear this message. You cannot vote your way out of this. You cannot weapon ban your way out of this. The only way this stops is when the people that want to perpetrate violence like this on your citizenry are so afraid that they might die in the attempt that they don't ever make it. This is why you don't ban the kirpan, you don't ban knives with tips in the kitchens. What you ban is the inability for the citizenry to defend themselves. They want to talk about how it's part of their culture to carry a kirpan. That's fine. It's part of my culture as a Saxon heritage enjoyer to carry a sax. It's part of my heritage as a Newfoundlander to always have a pocket knife on me. That combines both. That's a sax blade on a pocket knife. As a Newfoundlander, I have a heritage that allows me to acknowledge that heritage as someone who should always be capable of utilitarian usage of a knife, to always have one on me. It is almost every day I find some use for that knife, just for having it in my pocket. And the only thing I don't use it for is food. And if I decide I need to use it for food, I can clean it in a hearth. The point is, if one group has an exemption because of their culture, then all groups should be able to have the same sort of cultural exemption. Or no one should have any exemptions, but no one should also be banned from having a weapon to defend themselves with. One of the big problems we have in the West, in a lot of our governments, is that our cultures, our societies, were homogenous and so high trust for so long that it became unnecessary for the average person to carry a weapon. You look at the Old West, everyone had a gun on their hip. Was that because people were trustworthy? No, it's because having a weapon makes you capable of violence. Being capable of violence makes you dangerous. If you are dangerous to someone who wants to commit violence to you, they have to think twice. As opposed to here in Canada, we have an absolutely cockamamie self-defense scheme where if someone kicks in my door, I have to be very careful about what I do to them, even though they kicked in my door. I have to be careful about what I do to them. I'm the one who has to think twice about how I respond so that I don't get criminally charged. Absolutely retarded. Also, for the record, if you're thinking about kicking in my door, I recommend against it. I don't give a fuck what the law says. Yeah. Rodnus says, the law must apply equally to everyone, or it applies to no one. No exemptions for race, religion, or any other identity. If one group can carry knives at all times for whatever reason, then every citizen must have that right. That I agree with. It's this part that I disagree with. That the law must apply equally to everyone. It shouldn't. If you are a foreigner to a country, the law should not apply to you the same way that it applies to the native-born. The native-born should get primacy. Absolutely, period. If someone from a foreign country attacks me in my home, I should have the right. And honestly, it doesn't matter where they came from. If they come into my home to attack me, I should have the right to defend myself, not just to the fullest extent I am capable of, but to the fullest extent I can be capable of using technology. Which means, yes, everybody should have the right, if they choose, to carry a firearm. There's a reason I call myself a trans-Tennessean. They have constitutional carry. God bless Tennessee. Yeah. Dana Sharp, my religion requires a broadsword. Yeah. Multiculturalism, if it is possible for it to work, can only work. It can't. There is no such thing as multiculturalism. The moment you take a country with a single established culture and start adding people to it from a different culture, and they start not integrating, you don't have a multicultural society. You have a society with a fucking hole in it. I carry this for religious reasons. Germanic pagan, me too. A man should not step 1 foot forth in the field without weapons. One cannot know on the road when he will need his spear. From the Havamal, stanza 38. I need to actually make note of that. I'm probably going to have a read of the Havamal. I do like the Germanic pagan traditions. Excuse me. Okay. There we go. I carry this for religious reasons. Me too. Deus is fucking vaulting hard, man. Yeah, let's talk briefly about Henry Novak. A group of Sikhs on a live were recorded discussing the murder. I'm going to actually let this play while I'm talking.
And this guy here, he's wearing a turtleneck, like when people are wearing.
They said he deserved it. They said his grave should be shit on. They said chat something get banged. These are Sikhs in the UK. This is absolutely disgusting beyond belief. I'm going to back this up, actually, because I just realized that there's actually some commentary I need to offer while these guys are talking. Evil Author says, carry a sword, and when questioned, say you are a sword sexual. Or I could just say that I identify as a medieval man, and I expect you to recognize and, approve, or not approve, recognize and acknowledge my identity. Yeah.
Normally, I disagree with you, Bobby, but on this occasion, I'm gonna have to agree with you a little bit.
Would you get the marbles out of your mouth and speak fucking English, please?
And this guy here, he's wearing a turtleneck,
Oh no, not a turtleneck. Anything but a turtleneck, except it's not a fucking turtleneck.
When people are wearing turtlenecks, they mean business, man.
Eh? When people wear turtlenecks, they mean business. Are you fucking retarded?
Exactly, brother, exactly. You wouldn't get normal people wearing turtlenecks.
Normal people don't wear turtlenecks.
It's like that over a shirt with a tie.
They're talking about the sweater he's wearing, which isn't a turtleneck, over his dress shirt. Are you fucking kidding me? They don't even know what a turtleneck is. Oh, I got a beep on something. That's another notification from Telegram. Sorry.
An island. Yeah, it's very businessy, very smart, and that's scary. If someone like that threatens you.
Fuck off, you pieces of shit. You're still trying to push the he threatened the other guy fucking narrative? Yeah, fuck you, you tribalist pricks. And for the white people watching, maybe we should be a little more tribal.
You know it's serious, man. And
I don't know if you noticed, but if you look at his eyes, he's very, very cold.
You have no idea what he's looking at or what the expression on his face is. The angle is far too high. If I tip my head down to about there, and I'm just resting bitch face on this. Right? How evil did I look there for a second? And I mean, I know what I look like when I just drop my expressions. Hang on. Light's a bit bright. Yeah, I know what I look like when I don't animate my face.
His eyes are like, he's looking in the mirror, he's flicking his hair.
Ooh, he's flicking his hair. Oh no. Fuck's sakes.
Sinister. It's dumb. Guys, press 1 if you think the Singh was in the right. Press 2 if you think the Singh was in the wrong and Henry was in the right. So 1 if you believe that Singh was in the... Which way did I say? Fuck it, I've lost my... 10 more seconds.
Yeah, they can't even organize their own thinking. Fuck off. Erica Rose said, well, that is so degrading and disgusting to say that about a young innocent lad who was actually cruelly murdered. Why would you want to shit on his grave? How foul? How can anyone not be mad with rage about this? I can't wait till someone tries it. And gets spotted trying it. Personally. Where's Sargon? What's this one? Oh, this one absolutely deserves to be in the list of White History Month. Our grandfathers, from Nick Grenier, didn't die at Juno Beach for our country to be handed over to endless waves of immigrants who don't respect our way of life in Canada. Remigration is necessary and inevitable, and the gentler option. Remigration will save Canada. Yes. Oh, look. Irwin thinks he's racist. Nick says Canadian culture must be respected and protected. Canadians first. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Let's see. Double Blue says, with respect, where do we start? Other than Indigenous people, we're all immigrants. Fuck you. We didn't immigrate. My people didn't immigrate to this fucking country. My people 60, 80, 80-ish years ago were suckered into joining Canada. But before that, my family, my people, my bloodline, my heritage has been here for 4 fucking centuries. I am an Indigenous Newfoundlander. I am an ethnic Newfoundlander. I am a white Newfoundlander. I'm very proud to be who I am. I'm very proud to come from the people I came from. Fuck you. You don't get to call me an immigrant. My bloodline is probably older than yours. I can trace it back to Norman France before the fucking invasion in 1066. Go fuck yourself. You have no right to call me an immigrant. I am the descendant of settlers and colonizers, men who conquered nature and overcame the frigid-ass North Atlantic to get here in the first place. I might get a little heated about that one. Canadians allowed this to happen, so it is on the people of Canada. No one else to blame. Yes. And no. There's an appropriate segue. We had the anniversary of Marvin Heemeyer recently. We also had another anniversary that kind of went unnoticed by a lot of people. From Thriller the Gorilla, following him back. Never forget that almost 34 years ago, we learned the government will kill your dog, shoot your 14-year-old son in the back, and snipe your wife in the doorway while she holds your infant child, all over how long the barrel of a shotgun is. For those of you who don't know what Ruby Ridge is, I suggest you go do a bit of research. Evil Author says, Rip Henry. Yeah, Henry didn't deserve any of this. And I do understand where his father is coming from. He would like it to go away. But I'm sorry, sir. Unfortunately, Henry is the rallying cry. Henry is the point around which this movement starts to coalesce. Finally. And if we can have no more Henrys, we've already had one, or at least an attempted one. That would be the best outcome. Yeah. There's the hashtag. Yeah. I'll pop this one in and see what author said. Hello, yeah, brother, same here. My family has been in America since before 1776. Yeah. My people have literally been in Newfoundland longer than yours have been in America. And I know that because my people were here before the rest of the continent was fucking settled. Right? From Alice Smith, who catches a follow. The skin of white people can be porcelain, alabaster, pink, peach, beige, golden, olive, and tan. Our eyes can be blue, gray, amber, green, hazel, and brown. Is there any other race with more variety? Does this not count as diversity? I pointed out, we are the true people of color. Yeah. Yeah, who are the real people of color? Right. Let's see. Oh, Drew Mick is trying to say, oh, those varieties still can't stand the sun. How the fuck do you think we get tanned, motherfucker? What do you mean can't stand the sun? You think these freckles are from just having things thrown at me? Something a lot of people miss, too, with freckles. Freckles are generally a sign that you worked in the sun, in the heat, suffering. So from the British Patriot, we have breaking. Multiple reports are coming in that British citizens are kneeling inside local police stations across the country. I like this. This is good. I'm going to play this video really quick. It's fairly short. It's like 40 seconds. I absolutely adore this. The unfortunate pose that some of these people are in with their phones notwithstanding, because we need to come together as a people for the protection of our own. This is not tribalism nor racism. It is loyalty to one's own. And July is White History Month. Fucking woke losers. Are you fucking kidding? Yukon, you don't know why they're there, do you? What are you saying here? How is it woke to protest police for their hands in the death of Henry Miller? Did he actually respond? He did not. Okay, Yukon, I follow you. I've cited you repeatedly. It is not woke to take a knee. Taking a knee has been a means of memorializing and showing reverence for things for millennia, most likely. You take a knee in front of the king when you get knighted. You take a knee in the church before you sit in the pew, if you're Catholic. You take a knee at a funeral or when you're remembering someone because you're showing respect. The fact that they did it for George Floyd just cheapened the gesture, that's all. But it doesn't take the meaning out of the gesture. And yes, to try to be fair to you, maybe you mean they shouldn't be on their knees, they should be on their feet fighting. Sure. We'll assume that is the direction you're trying to encourage them to be stronger. I understand that. This is a nonviolent protest. This is a very, very good way to get the message out that you don't want to see more Henry Novaks. That George Floyd should get far less respect than Henry Novak. He should be far less memorialized. I do like to throw some funny things in, so today we have a classic clip. Let me just pause this here. From The Buck You Will, a Canadian classic from Hamilton, Ontario. Have you ever wondered what the sound of a cast iron pan is when it strikes a member of Antifa across the head? Fear not, I have you covered. It's boink boink. Well... For the record, I don't think that's actually the sound it made. And on top of it, that wasn't a frying pan. That appeared to have been some sort of helmet. However, it's far more musical than you might expect. And I did say, fuck Antifa. Yeah. Oh, fuck off, YouTube. Yeah, I love that clip. It makes me smile every time I see it. Let's see. White people tan well if you work outside. Yeah. I will burn, and then I'll kind of get like a light golden glaze. I don't really get particularly dark. My father used to get very dark. Makes me wonder if there isn't a little bit of, that French lineage still kind of standing in the family. Not that one. Let's see. That one. Nope. Not that one. Okay. You want to know what's worse than incompetence? This from Banksy Cat. I'm not sure I'm going to throw them a follow just yet. First time I've used them. Knowing the truth and burying it anyway. They knew. That's the bit nobody is saying. They knew. 2 days after Henry died, Hampshire police secretly recorded Digwa in a police van speaking Punjabi to his brother. Digwa admitted stabbing Henry, discussed claiming self-defense, and made zero mention of racial abuse. Not one word. Hampshire police had that tape. They knew Digwa was lying about the racist attack. They had the evidence, they had his own words, and then tried to smear Henry as the aggressor anyway. 3 days after his death, their statement read, quote, "It was reported 2 men had been assaulted by an unknown man." Henry, of course, being the unknown man. The boy bleeding out on the street. They flipped it. The family complained, statement changed. The police then told the family their next update would again infer Henry was the initial aggressor. His family had to fight them a second time. This is also part of the reason his dad just wants this to end. While grieving for their murdered son. Then during the trial, Hampshire tried to issue a statement telling the public to stop talking about it online, calling it disinformation. The CPS had to step in, told them they were about to collapse their own murder case. That's the Crown Prosecution Service. This is the force that handcuffed a dying boy, missed the murder weapon twice. Yeah, apparently Digwa still had a fucking weapon on him when he got to the jail. Had a secret tape proving the killer lied and still tried to bury Henry's name. That's not incompetence. That's a machine protecting itself at the expense of a dead boy's reputation, and 3 officers are still on active duty, not suspended, treated as witnesses to their own actions. Hampshire police didn't just fail Henry on that street, they kept failing him for 6 months after he died. Yeah. Brings up the question if the police can do this to an innocent young man, painting him as the aggressor when the evidence states otherwise and has been proven. He was innocent. How many other cases has this happened to? How many times do you need to have it repeated to you that members of the police service and the government told the victims of the grooming gangs to shut their mouths for the sake of racial harmony? How many fucking times do you need to hear this shit before you start to realize, wait, maybe people are targeting people based on their color of their skin? I don't care about that. Okay, I'm going to, let me see. Yeah, no, we'll skip that one today, but I'll keep it in the list for tomorrow. Okay, let's talk about Belfast. This is what author referenced when he came in, wanted to know if I'm talking about Ireland. Yeah, we have to. Curious Explorer catches the follow. Nightmare in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The horrific video shows a black African migrant stabbing a white British man in the face and neck multiple times while he lies on the street. The knifeman screams in an unknown foreign language as he attempts to behead the victim. Bystanders were slow to react, but eventually started hitting and kicking the terrorist in the head until police arrived. Oh, I need a prop for this because I'm going to need this thing. I'll just poke that to one side so it stays where I need it. The victim was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries and remains in critical condition. UK Police, PS Northern Ireland, Police Service Northern Ireland, I assume, have refused to release the attacker's identity, nationality, or immigration status despite the footage going viral. This has triggered massive outrage over two-tier policing, mass migration failures, and Keir Starmer's Labour government, which is now pushing digital IDs and anti-free speech online censorship. Gee, where have I heard that before? That online censorship? Oh, Canada. Yeah, Carney is trying to do it too. Earlier today, oh, actually, I don't want to scroll down just yet. Earlier today, Labour got hit with 4 separate community notes for trying to use their under-16 social media ban to install spyware on British phones. Massive protests are being planned across Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England. The UK was already a powder keg after Henry Novak. This Belfast video is diffused. Now, the reason I scrolled back up away from the video, I know not everybody is as inured to violence, is as comfortable with violence as I am. And I want to make sure you're all aware, before you watch this part of the video, that there is some brutality here. It is not a nice thing to watch. As you can tell from the still.
He's dead, he's just killed him, hurry up! He's dead, he's completely dead.
Yeah,
No, he's not.
Has he got a knife?
Yeah. Get off him, you fucking rat! Yo!
You can see here now the suggestion has been made that he was attempting to behead the victim. Possibly. At the very least, he was attempting to cut his throat.
He's cutting him, he's cutting him.
He's trying to cut his head off, isn't he? Hurry up!
Hurry up!
He's slicing his head off here, hurry up the fuck!
Hurry back then!
Come on, bastard! Come on!
Get him!
Quick! Kill him! Get him down! Let him go down! Yes! Yes! Get up! Get up!
Now, the reason that I needed a prop is because I want to show you what this guy is using to club at the guy turns out to be Sudanese, not Somali for the record.
Get up!
There's a cop, back off, back off, back off.
Quick!
No. I don't care if the cops are showing up, missus. He's still got a hold to him. No. You separate them and then let the cops sort it out. You don't need to wait for the cops to act in defense of your own.
No! Bro, get off!
Stop trying to talk to him. He doesn't hear you. He's not there. He's checked completely fucking out, whether he's whacked out of his shit on pot or he's just coked out, cracked out, whatever. Even if it's just a psychotic break, he's not there. There is nothing going on behind those eyes other than the need to kill. Oh, he did break it. Okay, let me see if I can get a better view of this here. You see this item in this fella's hands? That's a Hurley. That's this thing. This is a, how would you put it? Well, it's a Hurley. It's a club, sort of, that's used in two games. Hurling, and I think Camogie is the other Irish game it's used in, Irish sport. Now, when the guy first accosted him, you could see that he used this side, this face, to hit him. And I'll get this a little closer to the camera to show you the structure of it in just a second, but we'll finish the video first. Now, I want to point out one thing, too, with the cops. They're very, very, very slow to grab that guy. They're not attempting to kick him, to drive him free, nothing. They're attempting to be gentle with the immigrant. Far gentler than he deserves. And just to explain what I mean, with a Hurley, and I'll get the entire thing into the shot so that you can see it. So this is roughly 3 feet long. It's basically from my neck out to half again the length of my hand. And I'm not a small guy, but I don't have huge reach. But I want to show you the structure of this. If I turn it this way, you'll see that it's got a relative point there and almost a blade profile on this side. You flip it over, you've got a very solid square end on that side. Now, what the guy did initially was strike this way. What I would have recommended was to use this, the point. Just give it to him. It's the exact same thing I would do if it was a rabid dog, for the record. And if you don't appreciate me comparing a human being to a dog, well, too bad. Because in this case, that immigrant is in fact acting like a rabid animal. And we don't tolerate rabid animals in white societies. We put them down to protect society. This guy will not be put down. He probably won't even be deported. He'll probably be jailed for a minimal amount of time, more likely sent to some sort of mental asylum or mental institution where he will be cured inside a few months, released, and inevitably be a problem again. And I simply said, we don't have to live like this. Good man with the club, and I point out that's a hurley used in Irish sports, hurling and camogie. I happen to have one. Yes, and the reason I have one is because I was gifted one. I have some thoughts as to its proper use as a defensive item versus the way the fellow was using it. I just covered that. Yeah, are you not culturally enriched? Yeah, that's another one I'll leave for tomorrow. Okay, we'll close that one. And we come to the really good news stuff, I guess.
Good news, everyone!
The first thing I want to share is a little good news from me. After over a year of struggling to get past 1,100 followers, I'm now finding that my follow count is jumping rather quickly. I passed 1,300 a couple of days ago, and I did say my sincerest thanks to each and every one of you. Love yourself, love your people, and remember, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. The reason I say that is because it's an imprecation to remember that while Christians follow the lamb, the good European follows the lion. Yeah. Oh, Earl of the South. Hell yeah, brother. Congratulations from Newsfist. Thank you, sir. Or as they say in France, Marcy Bouquet. We had a bit of a back and forth there. You know Marcy Bouquet? We used to hang out back in the day. She told me she was Quebecois. And she lied. She's from St. Pierre. Okay, let's we've got some laughs to have, but first I want to somewhat memorialize something. And I do like to try to end on brighter notes where I can. So, and I'm actually going to end this once I finish these few kind of funny bits, because one of my family members is here to celebrate their birthday, and you know, I'll cut the gaming out for that today.
So the U.S. Marine Corps held a ceremony on the 3rd of June of 2026 that officially retired one of the most iconic aircraft in the branch's history. I'm talking about the Harrier jump jet, specifically the Alpha Victor 8 Bravo Harrier 2 jump jet.
For those of you who don't know what the name of the jet means, it's the one that Arnold Schwarzenegger has to deal with in True Lies. That's a Harrier. Congrats and great show. Thank you very much. I'm not actually quite done yet. I do have some laughs to share. So,
the ceremony was referred to as a Harrier sundown, meaning a retirement. Essentially, sundown in military aviation terminology means the formal end of a platform's service life, which involves ceremonies, flyovers, and tributes to honor its legacy. This sundown event marked the conclusion of over 55 years of Harrier operations in the United States Marine Corps, which
I'll say thank you to Kagan Dunlap for that. And between the Harrier and the A-10 and the F-15, I think those are my three favorite U.S. military aircraft. Potentially my favorite military aircraft on the planet. Let's say fixed wing, because I really do like some of the helicopters as well. But we'll move on from there to, also I want to say thank you to my 78 followers here, and I believe on YouTube I'm somewhere in the region of 335. Let me just check that really quick, because, well, I'm firmly of the belief that 332, thank you very much. I'm firmly of the belief that in order to stave off, the sense of malaise or depression that comes with working like this, where you don't always have a lot of feedback, and thank you very much to Evil Author for being here for pretty much the entire show, you have to acknowledge your small victories. And sometimes you should acknowledge the big ones. And let's see if this works properly. It should. Okay. That one's not. Try it this way. Okay, let's try that. Okay, now this video should work. I hope. Media's too big. God damn it. Okay, this one's not too big. Okay, we should have a laugh on this one, I think. I only have one or two left now, then, if this one works. Hopefully it does. Okay, so we have established that the train is the natural predator of the Indian. However, he must also be careful of his own stupidity and the tricksy nature of. Yeah, gotta watch them tractors, buddy. They'll sneak up on you. Okay, and the last thing for today is what it's going to be like if I ever manage to visit Britain after managing to move to the US. It's going to be me in London showing the locals my ceremonial 45. For those of you who don't know, the backing track on that, which is absolutely probably going to catch me a copyright violation on YouTube, was We're Going to Ibiza by the Venga Boys, if I recall correctly. Okay, thank you very much to Evil Author for being here. If you would like to support me, please go over and fling me a few bucks on the Ko-Fi. What else? If you would like to support me for no money, you can chat, comment, share, like, follow, or subscribe, depending on platform. It's your money. You spend it as you will. If you decide to spend it on me on a monthly basis, on Ko-Fi or Rumble, I'd rather you did Ko-Fi. We covered this several times, repeatedly, over and over and over again ad nauseum. But if you decide to support me on an ongoing basis, on a monthly basis, I will put your name in the ticker alongside Zenrab7 and Simon JJ, my staunchest supporters at this point. Other than that, you know, if you're watching this in the future on YouTube, please do say hello in the comment section. Feel free to repost, share, etc. Yeah, and check out my X account because you never know what I'm saying over there. Excuse me. I do apologize. Other than that, I hope you're having a good day. I see I have at least 2 people watching, so thank you very much. Yeah, other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. And remember, July is White History Month, whether they want to let us have one or not. Bye, folks.